In the vast Serengeti Reserve, the dry season has extended, forcing all herds to find new places to survive. The male lion, with a thick golden mane LED, the pride toward the fields near the clearing. The ground cracked beneath their feet, and dry grass fell in the hot, scorching wind that burned everywhere. The lionesses and cubs were tired, but still confidently followed the strong footsteps of their leader. In the sharp, bright eyes, the male lion showed pride, but deep inside was fear and hunger. The wind whistled through the vast grasslands, a reminder that the drought was far from over, and danger was always lurking. Each step it took left, its mark on the field an assertion of the power of the beast at the top of the hunting chain. In the harsh wilderness, the leader's strength is the only hope for the herd to survive the aridity. The red sun hung high, reflecting off his golden mane, making him look like a savanna god. The whole herd followed each other. The journey was arduous, but still full of determination for the survival of each small member. One hot morning, as the sunlight was just filtering through the trees, the male lion suddenly discovered a large beehive. The beehive hung on a low branch, swaying gently in the wind. The sweet smell of honey, making it interested in approaching it, raised its head to observe, then curiously raised its foot to pounce. Making the beehive shake violently on the dry branch, in a flash the swarm of bees swarmed out, their dense buzzing sound filling the dry, hot space. The lion roared softly, trying to brush away the bees with his claws, but the insects only became more frantic, attacking his face and mane. It rushed madly across the lawn, rolling on the ground, scratching fiercely, hoping to escape the stinging rain. The swarm of bees would not let go. Each sting burned so painfully that his eyes gradually blurred. His breathing became rapid and labored in panic. It staggered and roared, but the swarm of bees still covered its back, belly, and face. The lionesses and cubs stopped in the distance. Their eyes filled with confusion, but none of them dared to approach. They just stared for a moment, then slowly left, leaving their leader in pain. The male lion fell down, his body covered with dead bees. Blood and honey mixed and stuck to his fur. It struggled to stand up, roaring hoarsely, but its steps were shaky without the majestic strength it once had. The image is like a king who has lost his throne, lost in the harsh grasslands with no one by his side to support him in desperation. It tried to crawl step by step, trying to escape the thick rain of bees that was covering its body. Finally, as the swarm began to thin out, it collapsed, its body covered in stings. Its mane drooping heavily, the wind picked up again, carrying with it the scent of honey, blood, and the despair of the exhausted pack leader. It was breathing heavily. Its eyes were hazy. Only a little survival instinct kept its weak breath in the desolate scene all that night. It lay motionless, occasionally groaning softly, its body shaking in constant pain. The next morning it dragged itself to the edge of the shallow lake, trying to drink every drop left in the hole in the ground. The little water was not enough to quench his thirst, only making his throat more parched, but his instincts still held on. The next day its body was emaciated, its fur matted with honey, blood, and dead bees. It collapsed under the shade of a dry tree, no longer having the strength to hunt, no longer having the pack to cling to in its weakest moment. 3 days passed. It only drank some stagnant water, then returned to rest its head under the old tree. The scorching sunlight exhausted its body even more. Each breath became heavy, as if prolonging death. At that time, 2 rangers, Joseph and Ndlovu, and Peter Kamau, were patrolling the water source. In the reserve, they followed the path through the golden fields, wondering if any remaining animals could drink water from afar. Peter suddenly stopped, pointing to the tree, where he saw a large, motionless body. They thought it was the body of a dead lion lying stiff in the dry grass under the scorching sun. As he approached, Joseph took a step back, startled, because the body was trembling slightly, and the half-open eyes still had a faint light before them. The surviving male lion, its body covered in dead bees, its mane limp, its body covered in red, swollen wounds. Peter felt a shiver. his heart beating fast, but the sympathetic look made him decide not to leave it alone. Joseph nodded. Both of them quickly prepared tranquilizer guns to ensure the safety of people and animals. The needle pierced the skin. The lion roared weakly, then slowly fell into a deep, motionless sleep. Immediately after that, they put it on a stretcher, carried it together to the pickup truck, and prepared to take it to the veterinary station for treatment. The image of the great but exhausted beast lying motionless made their hearts ache heart-wrenching pain upon arrival at the Serengeti Ranger Station. A veterinarian was immediately on hand. Along with a team of emergency responders, they used scissors to cut away the sticky fur and remove hundreds of dead bees, still clinging to the lion's flesh. Each sting is cleaned with a disinfectant solution, then treated with an anti-infective medication to avoid dangerous complications. A veterinary nurse administered antibiotics and painkillers, while the attending physician administered fluids to restore strength. The lion lay still on the vet's floor, breathing steadily but weakly, his mane soaked with antiseptic. In the afternoon it woke up, its eyes opened dully, only groaning weakly when given a small cup of water. It took a few sips of water, then put its head down again, continuing to sleep soundly in the human's protective arms. The next day it was able to sit up and slowly chew some soft meat that the staff brought. The red swellings began to subside. The body gradually regained some vitality after days of near death. The doctor and rangers took turns monitoring and recording every change to ensure the best recovery every time he saw it open its eyes. Joseph felt the greatness of nature mixed with its pitiful fragility. Peter stood outside the cage, his eyes filled with hope, waiting for the day the lion would truly stand firm again. A week passed, each wound dried up, muscles stopped shaking. Breathing was as strong as ever. It began to pace around the cage, occasionally growling softly as if testing its lost strength. That had just returned, the doctor smiled, understanding that it had overcome a crisis that seemed to have no way out. Confidence spread throughout the ranger station, because they had saved not only an animal, but also a symbol of the forest. The lion raised its head high, its eyes brighter, gradually regaining the majestic appearance of the Serengeti king. When its health had clearly recovered, it was moved to a large semi-wild enclosure to readapt there. It can move around, more practice catching small prey. Released to train its survival skills, body gradually toned each step, powerful mane fluttering in the golden wind of the dry Serengeti plains. Every day it roars, as if reminding that the hot blood in the body still burns with the power of freedom. Joseph and Peter often came to watch, their eyes filled with pride as they watched it revive day by day. 2 weeks later, doctors decided to open the final door so it could truly return to nature. The morning light poured into the cage. The lion slowly stepped out, stopped for a few seconds, and took a deep breath. It turned its head to look at the two rangers, its eyes deep, like a silent thank you that could not be expressed. Joseph put his hand on his chest and bowed his head, while Peter smiled with a choked voice. Feeling his heart lighten greatly, the lion strode across the vast grassland, its majestic figure gradually blending into the vast bright sky. The wind rustled through the dry trees, carrying the echoes of the footsteps of a strong survivor. Returning, the Serengeti witnessed the rebirth of a king after long days of seemingly hopeless despair. The beasts in the distance will surely hear the mighty roar again, soon signaling the return of the ruler. That moment became an unforgettable memory for those who saved the precious life in the wild. The story ends with a belief that human resilience and compassion can work miracles. However, don't forget to subscribe.